Day 3 of the inaugural police summit in Ekurhuleni is now underway. Security experts, researchers and policymakers all set to reflect on current policing approaches and develop more effective methods for police to fight against rising crime. There'll also be breakaway sessions looking at broad themes focusing on proven policing strategies that have reduced crime and enhanced community safety. Watching the story for us is our reporter Neria Hlakotsa, who joins us now live from Ekurhuleni, where this has been taking place now, Neria, for about 3 days or so. In fact, the gathering is meant to round off today, and I wonder whether we have a clear path of what's likely to come out of this final day of that summit.
Good morning to you, Ayanda. Of course, today we are expecting this summit to conclude, but I must tell you that in the past 3 days, we've heard from the various law enforcement agencies talking about the need for capacity, the need for resources, and the need for technology, especially when it comes to fighting crime, especially organized crime. You know, yesterday, the panel members were speaking about how they are now competing with very smart criminals, and without the necessary technology, without the necessary resources and capacity, they will be unable to do their job properly, to police rather effectively. And maybe if we recap also from day one, we heard how police officers were talking about how they want to keep the country safe, but their lives are also at risk because they're finding themselves having to defend themselves against criminals. And that is when we spoke to unions, we spoke to the National Commissioner, they were clear that it is time for their members to also start defending themselves, because the whole point of law enforcement is to protect the country. And if criminals think they are above the law, then they have another thing coming for them. But right now, I just want to bring in a criminologist, you know, who's been attending this 3-day summit, just to speak, of course, about the issues that came up here, more especially when it comes to capacity and fighting crime. Prof. Kulufelo, thank you so much for joining us. Yesterday, even the first day, we heard about capacity challenges, resources challenges. When you look at this, how tough will it be for police to then enforce the law and basically deal with the crime that we are seeing in the country?
Good morning. Indeed, first day, it was an acknowledgement day where we were all in agreement with regard to the long-standing issues within the SAPS, issues of corruption, issues of capacity, lack of tools of trade, and poor training, amongst many other. Then the President reiterated importance of community partnership. Yet we had an issue with that, because we understand for community partnership to be effective in assisting the fight against crime, the police officers should be well equipped, because this issue of distrust and mistrust or misconception about the police is due to issues from the police side. So there were multiple discussions around utilization of technology, where there was an agreement that indeed we deal with an innovative criminal, a rational thinker who's well prepared, and the law enforcement in the country is forever reactive because of lack of technologies. Again, issues around municipal role in crime prevention were discussed together with the proposed integrated crime and violence prevention strategy, which we still question the implementation part, because for over a decade we have been having beautiful policies which enforced, which required collaborative effort. But yet again, critical stakeholders such as municipalities will neglect their mandate, and there will not even be repercussions. So we were questioning, to what extent are they going to ensure that there's compliance? All multiple stakeholders specified are going to play their role. So we're still waiting to see. And furthermore, issues around environmental design were discussed, where Salga presented the crime prevention through environmental design strategy. And again, we questioned lack of innovative mechanisms around policing in South Africa, looking into disaster and crime, because we understand that disaster is an enabler in many provinces, because due to disaster, crimes or justice system is unavailable. So we wish that the law enforcement could also be inclusive in that regard. Reporting issues were discussed, quite a lot of issues, because there are multiple stakeholders here. But then this should not be rhetoric like previous summits or previous conferences. We understand this they say is one of its kind, but we're waiting for implementation, because we are called by SAPS, and it's up to them to pick and choose what they think will work. But as far as we analyze, we are losing the battle against crime. A paradigm shift is required, and it will require tightening of our laws, because like the unions have been specifying issues around Criminal Procedure Act. We are moving with the Criminal Procedure Act of 1977, particularly Section 49, which still has inconsistencies, which takes away powers from officers. That is why we have a lot of police killings, because now we are found wanting, because as an officer you are allowed to use reasonable force, yet criminal procedure does not protect you because it's very vague and there are inconsistencies when it comes to a reasonable force that it specifies. So unions are here to talk about the importance of unions in the fight against crime and in policing, but we will see if their opinions will be taken into consideration.
Thank you so much, Prof. Of course, that is Prof. Kulofelo. We are expecting the Minister of Police to close this session later this afternoon, and of course give a way forward in terms of what has come out here of the summit.
All right, so Neria Hlakotsa, live to us there from Ekurhuleni at the Empress Palace, to be more specific. For now, thanks very much indeed.